Yo, yo, superfluous IJB here with another vocabulary rap. Welcome to my vocab project part 1, where I'll try to make the best study guide bar none. We'll proceed in order, so get out your notes as I take you through the 80 plus definitions I wrote. Adventure novel has action and excitement. Look to Jules Verne for some great enlightenment. Allegory has secret meanings galore. C.S. Lewis wrote one, then he wrote some more. Alliteration, same first letter in conjunction. A fantastic fancy, fearless function. Allusion references a separate text, Pandora's box, for example. Alright, what's next? Analogies, a clarifying comparison, like an emaciated man to an alabaster skeleton. Anaphora, repeating words begin the clauses. Old Dickens wrote one, keep going, no pauses. Antithesis is deliberate contradiction. Neil Armstrong and his famous transcription. Apostrophe is an exclamatory passage. Mark Antony had one and it was massive. Ascendance is the use of pseudo-rhyming, just like the Raven and its great one-lining. Ambiguity is inexact. R&J had one and that's a fact. Anecdote is just a short story. I didn't mean to sound demeaning. Tell Roland I'm sorry. Antagonist is the main bad guy, like Kochama in The God of Small Things by Roy. Anticlimactic is a real big downer, like Monty Python and the Quest for a Flower. Blank verse, non-rhyming iambic. John Milton is a huge Satan fanatic. Burlesque is extreme overacting. Pride and Prejudice with some undead whacking. Canon is the group of quality literature, Grecian classics, just like their pillars. Coming of age story is about growing up like the outsiders. Yo, soda pop, what's up? Climax is the most exciting part, just like the end of the telltale heart. Colloquial language is another form of slang. Y'all or yins, where's my Pittsburgh gang? Conceit is an elaborate metaphor. Juliet as a boat in a category 4. Connotation is meaning implied, just like how moist causes people to die. Convention is the standard way of presiding, like a man in a theater, dramatically assiding. Consonance is the repetition of non-vowels, as imperceptibly as grief is what I found. Couplet is 2 rhymed lines of verse. Alexander Pope, I don't mean to sound terse. Diet Coke means cut in two. The Roar by Katy Perry is good for you. 2 Sex Machina, contrived plot device. Avatar Aang, never used it twice. Diction is specific word choice, like the slang that several characters voice. Denouement is the wrap-up, it's done, like the epilogue of And Then There Were None. Doppelganger is a literary double. Mr. Hyde got Dr. Jekyll in trouble. And Jem continues on the next line. W.C. Williams will serve just fine. And stop lines have grammatical barriers. Sonnet 18 has tons to spare. Epithet is a descriptive phrase. The Odyssey by Homer and his wine dark days. Euphemism is an inappropriate reference. Animal Farm and the pig's interference. Flashback is at an earlier time. The pensieve of HP, let's continue this rhyme. Foot is the most basic unit of poetry. Twelfth Night had one and it uses it flowingly. Frame is a work's basic context, the situation surrounding the work's contents. Free verse doesn't have rhyme or rhythm. Walt Whitman and the silent spider that's with him. Humanism thinks that humanity is good, just like Anne Frank, though she was still in girlhood. Dramatic irony keeps characters in the dark, just like Macbeth and the death of a monarch. Situational irony is wholly unexpected. Robert Frost and the wall that he mended. Verbal irony means the opposite of what you say. Lemony Snicket and his cold bitter day. Literary quality is how we judge works. Charles Dickens, sharp as a dirk. Metaphysical poetry is complex and smart. Death be not proud is a really good start. Metonymy refers to objects by their qualities, the pen and the sword, just to name a few of these. Mock epic using humor makes classics relevant. I'll name Tom Thumb, just for the hell of it. Novel is a big book of prose. F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote a bunch of those. Novella is a long short story. H.P. Lovecraft, though his stuff is pretty gory. Novel of manners is highly realistic. Pride and Prejudice with its characters egotistic. Oxymoron uses opposites in tandem. Shakespeare, again, he's got quite the fandom. Parody is comic imitation. Don Quixote and his windmill fixation. Persona is basically roleplay. The Old Man of the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. Pseudonym is just a fake name. Bachman and King, one in the same. Pulp Fiction is a story on cheap paper, the Maltese Falcon, and other such capers. Regional novels are specific to a place, Mary Ann Evans, more than just a pretty face. Rhyme uses words that sound similar, because I could not stop for death, does that sound familiar? Ridicule is a synonym for satire, Pink Floyd with money, but they're still for hire. Romance exposes flaws of ideals, the Count of Monte Cristo, he missed a couple meals. Sarcasm uses irony to mock, don't get it, you're not the brightest crayon in the box. Satire criticizes people and devices, eat your children is what Swift's advice is. Settings both the time and the place, the hobbits have their shire and they host with grace. Italian sonnets have only 2 stanzas, to read Gert Stridham is a big bonanza. Shakespearean sonnets have 3 and a couplet, Philip Sidney's are okay, but that might be too blunt. Spenserian sonnets have an interlocking rhyme scheme, naturally, Ed Spencer commands the scene. Style is the voice of the author, Poe again, because of horror he's the father. Subplots are side adventures in a text, Mary and Pippin had some fun with ends. Symbols represent ideas or themes, ravens mean death, that's pretty extreme. Tone is the attitude of a work, like fervent or insane, or like it's said with a smirk. Travesties mock subjects that aren't usually, Shakespeare used one on Pyramus and Thisbe. Understatement shows something is less than what it is, J.D. Salinger and that tumor of his. Verisimilitude seems like it's true, Huck uses slang for its black crew. Troche uses a long and short syllable, the tiger by Blake, though it leaves one quizzical. Dactyl uses 1 long and 2 shorts, Ian Lancashire has examples of course. Anapest uses 2 shorts then 1 long, Old Saint Nick and his jolly old song. Foreshadowing warns of future events, Shakespeare does so at his character's expense. Gothic novels have horror and mystery, Dracula by Bram Stoker, not actually history. Heroine has good qualities or is semi-divine, Jo March or Calypso will do just fine. Hubris is an excessive amount of pride, Satan once more, I don't mean to sound snide. Illocution when spoken is the action it entails, like promising or threatening, rhyme without fails. In media res occurs without preamble, Star Wars A New Hope though the sequels are a shamble. Inversion the normal order reverses, Adonis by Percy and its many, many verses. Memoir is a biography written with facts, Tuesdays with Maury to be exact. Pun plays on the words there for humor, forgetful nerd was such a loser. Rhyme scheme is the ordered pattern of rhymes, A, B, though this tends to confine. Resolution solves the problem or conflict, crime and punishment is what I picked. Rites of passage mark stages in life, the bar mitzvah is one, though it's only for guys. Slang is language specific to a people, bromance and shade, to deny it would be feeble. Soliloquy references speaking thoughts aloud, Hamlet has one while contemplating the shroud. Tragedy is a play with no happy ending, Othello and the deaths that seem unending. And that's it, finally we're done. Though I admit that was pretty fun, so keep on studying, you'll get there soon, or click replay, morning or noon. Superfluous IJB, out.